Hey everybody, welcome to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. My name is Robert Reames, the host and the producer of the show, and as always, I'm here to inform and inspire you, to educate you, and to motivate you so that you can take this information, put it to work in your lives, share it with your loved ones and your families. I've come a long way to have this opportunity to sit in front of you today. Let's go. Hey everybody, thanks again for tuning in to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. My name is Robert Reames, and today I want to talk about something that you have all been victims of. We have all been victims of. Marketing. Marketing. Now, marketing is a really great thing. I love marketing, and marketing is necessary. And I'm talking about marketing in wellness, specifically in wellness, in fitness, in nutrition, in the whole spectrum of wellness and healthcare out there. Marketing has been a great thing, but also I believe marketing in many cases, as you're going to see here in the next half hour, 40 minutes or so, marketing in many cases has been the demise of healthcare. It has been the demise of wellness in our nation and even all over the world. Here's the thing about marketing. Here's the thing about putting out advertisements or promotions. And this has all been put on steroids now because of the influence of social media today. We didn't have this 20 years ago. If you wanted to get marketed out there, you needed to get some TV spots. Now I got you on my phone. Now I got you when I tune into my computer. Now I've got you everywhere. Marketing, 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 marketing. And we are bombarded by it. We are lambasted by marketing. But here's the thing. Are you marketing me something? Is the marketing truthful? Is it authentic? Is it real? Is it something, is what I'm hearing from the message actually the message? Or are you lying to me? Are you trying to bamboozle me? Are you trying to get me to whip out my credit card for something that I don't need, but yet you need to think that you need to convince me that I do need it with your flash, with your trash, whatever it is? So that's what I want to get to today. Because once again, marketing is vital. I need marketing out there to whatever I want, whatever I'm looking for. And again, I'm talking specifically in wellness. We could cover the gamut on this in every industry known to man here because there's deception everywhere. But what I'm talking about is marketing for our healthcare, for our self-care, because your self-care, our self-care, is the most important thing in our lives. Without it, we've got nothing. So we depend on marketing to find out what is out there. What is out there? What is out there that I can use to make my life better? What can I get out there when there's a specific goal that I have? What can I get that I don't know about that is out there that will help me to become a better, more full, whole person? Body, mind, spirit, what I like to call and what I talk about all the time, working from the inside out. Now, Trent here today, he's the creator of Spread the Positive, where we do these podcasts. Trent, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm good. Pumped to be here.
That's good, man. Well, listen, real quickly, when you market Spread the Positive, look, spread the positive. Everything you need to know about what you're about is in that name. So when you're marketing something out there, you are speaking the truth. But tell me, you as an individual, what do you get out there for marketing sometimes? Do you feel deceived out there sometimes?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I feel like I appreciate the comment about Spread the Positive. And yeah, we try to be pretty authentic with what we put out there, but definitely a lot of trash, a lot of garbage, a lot of selling you, like I think you said it perfectly, selling you something you probably don't need, and it's a lot of excess and a lot of glitz and glamour versus like what we actually need.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to mention too, our friend Terry, the head of Nashville Fit, our network here.
Shouts to Terry.
Yeah, Terry's awesome, and Terry's got this huge project coming up. And then again, the timing and the airing of this show, I don't know if it's going to time out right, but the Fitness Expo.
Yeah,
that's the big Nashville Fitness Expo that's coming up on May 30th and 31st. Now, man, that is a beautiful opportunity for everybody to get to one spot where they can get hands-on so many different aspects of wellness and healthcare, and they can make their own decisions. Because you're going to go to a situation like a Nashville Fit Expo, and you're going to go up to some of these booths, and your bullshit meter will be on for some of these things. But you'll be able to see that because it's going to be right in front of you. You're going to be at the booth, you're going to be talking to an individual, and you're going to see that presentation right in front of you. So I think this is a great opportunity to really, for people out there, and I'm marketing right now the Nashville Fit Expo because I want people to attend this because it's an amazing thing, and Terry's working diligently to make this as successful as it's going to be, and it's going to be awesome. But I want to tell people, get out there because you're going to be able to see firsthand. Like I said, you're going to see through the bullshit meter in some of these booths out there, but you're going to see a lot of stuff that's going to be really amazing and that can possibly change your life. Because everybody out there is looking for something. The general public out there, you have to think about this. I talk about this all the time, where 20% of Americans get the right amount, get the recommended amount of exercise, whatever that is, recommended amount of exercise, and they really do take care of themselves. They prioritize self-care. They do what they need to do to be the best version of themselves. But 80% of Americans don't. And it is I think this is, I don't even think it's an opinion or a theory. I think it's a fact that 80% of Americans tune out because they know some of this marketing is full of shit. And they tune out of it because they're tired of being fooled. They're tired of being led on by something that doesn't work. And I'm going to get into some specifics, into some specific departments of wellness here in a second. But the other thing about marketing is it's got to be truthful. It's got to be authentic. I want marketing to be something that makes me available or makes me aware of something that I didn't know about, that I do need, that now, wow, I know about it and I want it and I've got the opportunity to get it. But the other thing about marketing, and especially today because there's such a free fall and absolutely no regulation, there's a free fall and absolutely no regulation of marketing out there in social media, Instagram, X, Facebook. Anybody can put out anything, and it doesn't have to go really through anything. Unless I think, Facebook sometimes will, if it's dangerous or if it's super vulgar or whatever. But even then, sometimes things slip through the cracks and they get out there, and there's just like, it's like you see some of this stuff and you go, really?
Yep.
But if you don't know, like if I'm in health and wellness. My bullshit meter is up all the time when I see this stuff because I live it, and this is what I've done for a living for, over 40 years now. But a lot of people out there that are looking and searching for answers, they don't have the knowledge that I have, or the knowledge that Trent has, or the knowledge that Terry has, or the knowledge that any kind of person in wellness has. And they're more hungry and more in need of information than anybody. So we're deceiving and we're cheating the public by lying and deceiving people out there with our marketing. So my first message, and I'm going to say this at the end and probably in the middle because it needs to be heard over and over, that people in health and wellness, fitness, nutrition, healthcare, whatever you're doing out there, you need to be authentic and true with what you're selling out there and what you're telling people about your product and services. And you also have to tell the specifics about who it's for.
Let's go.
Who is it for? Because I'll give you a really good example. CrossFit. That's the name of the game in fitness stuff. There's CrossFit has come on. It's been coming on for 10 years. CrossFit can be really good. I'm not going to trash CrossFit. I'm not going to trash it. I've got a really good buddy who's a fraternity brother of mine up in Indiana that's my age and is kicking ass on CrossFit. But you know what? He's trained for it. He knows how to do it, and he knows his body and how to navigate through CrossFit. And there's all kinds of like CrossFit derivatives out there. You know, there's all kinds of group trainings. I mean, they're all over Nashville here, and I'm sure they're all over LA and some of the bigger cities out there. And some of them are great. They're really great. I'm not here to trash any of that because it can be really good, but it has to be for the right person. It's not good for somebody that's been sitting in a cubicle for 10 years as an accountant with forward head posture and a weak core and a weak body. Well, you get them out there, well, CrossFit's my answer. And I go out there, or I go to some derivative of that kind of high intensity, what I call extreme training workout. And they go out there, you get them into the gym, you talk to them a little bit, you have them sign a big fat waiver, and then you throw a bar in their back. And that's wrong. That's where people get discouraged. That's where people become the 80% that don't care because nobody is speaking to them. They've tried to get in there and they've tried to communicate with you and say, look, I need the answers here. I'm looking for answers. But then some of the marketing out there is giving you bullshit, and you're worse off than when you went in there to find the answers. Now, can you see what I'm talking about here now, Trent? Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that goes across the board with marketing, not just in the health and wellness space. But yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's think about, because again, you see these things out there. I mean, on Instagram, I'm going to mention a couple of things. I already mentioned the extreme training type of programs. The kettlebell flows. And some of these things, some of the other very, very high intensity training out there that's going on. Again, it's great for the right person, but because it's marketed across the board as it's for everybody, because, and this is what I'm saying out there. Like if I post a video, you see me do my on the fly videos all the time. I talk specifically about certain things that I'm talking about. I give parameters. I give parameters on my app. I'm going to, when you pick up my book, Anti-Diet, it's going to have parameters. It's going to be like what to do and who it's for and why you need to do it. Or it's not just blanket across the board because, look, I can go out and play flag football this weekend and I can have a pretty good time with my buddies, but I'm not going to go to an NFL practice. Still football, right? But I know the specifics of what I'm capable of. What I'm gathering from some of the marketing out there is we're not getting any specifics about who it's for. Kettlebell swings. Talking about visual marketing. I see that exercise all the time, and it is a horrendous exercise for 98% of the public. And the other 2% of it that are doing it should be doing it in a different way. The form is horrible. Kettlebell swing should be a squat and a front raise combo. Let me repeat that. Kettlebell swing should be a squat and a front raise combo. It shouldn't be this mismatch of whatever it is I see out there. Because all I see out there when I see this exercise is I see the next thing, eventually somebody's disc is going to fly out the back towards the wall like a Frisbee.
Ouch.
Yeah. My mother, growing up, cleaning the garage, cleaning the basement, doing chores. Bob, lift with your legs. What are you doing? Lift with your legs. She knew proper biomechanics more than some of these trainers out there that are marketing some of this stuff, this poor form. So again, I'm picking on a couple of specific things that I see on Instagram a lot. But this, I could give you a lot of different examples. But the point is, there is no regulation, so somebody is seeing that, and then they go out and they buy it. They go down to Big Five, or they go down to the sporting goods store, and they buy their kettlebell, and they emulate what they see, and they throw their back out, and they wonder, what did I do wrong? Well, you didn't do anything wrong. You just were poorly informed. So on that note, I'm going to say always, when you are going to embark on an exercise program or a nutrition program or some kind of a physical fitness endeavor, spend the money initially for a trainer or a physical therapist that can properly train you, the individual, so that you get the right roadmap right away. You can thrive and do what you are capable of and what is appropriate from you from the beginning. So I'm going to market that concept. Now, that's not going to make a lot of people a huge amount of money. It's going to make some trainers and some PTs some money. But that's truth in marketing, because that's what you need to do. If you're going to embark on an exercise program and you are not an exercise person, or you haven't been in the gym or physically active for a long time, you need to get some specific instruction about where you are. I don't need to be marketed some bullshit workout out there that's not right for me, and I go and do it, and I get hurt, and I get discouraged. I toss in the towel, and I'm worse off than I ever was, and I'm in a deeper hole mentally about myself and my relationship with exercise and my future in exercise. Is it even for me? That's what I talk about. People don't feel like they are part of the arena because they look at some of this extreme training, and most people are smart enough to figure out, like, hey, that's not for me. But a lot of people aren't. So let's go back into the history of I'm going to talk about exercise here specifically. Back in the post-40s, first of all, military fitness has always been kind of an underscore or a baseline of physical fitness programs out there. And military physical fitness is awesome because that is real physical fitness. That is lifting, climbing, bending, running, stretching, moving. You need to be prepared out there for the battlefield. So people that are out there for many, many years, since the 30s, the 40s, the 20s, and even probably even into to the 19th century, doing physical fitness based on military programs is really, really good. I don't know if it meant to be marketed, but it was. People would watch that, or people would see that, or people would get instruction for that, and that's the marketing they received. And so they were able to do that at the beginning, like, hey, I don't need to go out and run 2 miles in my army boots right now. Maybe I can get some really good sneakers and go out and walk for a half a mile. Or maybe I can practice, going out to the mailbox first and getting my mail, because there's been so many people out there that I've worked with over the years that, a really challenging, incredible workout is literally getting off the couch, going out the front door and getting their mail.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that person's going on Instagram and they're seeing all this stuff. It's like, well, either A, they're going to try it and hurt themselves, like I said, or they're just going to go, shit, why bother? I can't do that. It's the message they get. Now, the bottom line in marketing, and always the goal at the end of the day, is money. So again, going back to, marketing militaristic kind of workouts and trying to get at different levels of that. That's how exercise kind of got started into the mainstream about like how people should exercise. Like what should they do? Where should they do it? How should they do it? And why should they do it? And you go into I'm going to fast forward into the 40s and the 50s, post-World War II. I lived in Hollywood for 37 years. I know a lot about LA. I know a lot about Hollywood. I spent a long time there, the majority of my life, actually, even though I was born and raised in Elkhart, Indiana, and I'm now here in the Middle Tennessee area. But I know there was one individual that really inspired me. I had a neighbor back in Studio City, lived a couple doors down, and there was a gentleman, and I'm going to mention his name because he was an actor at one point. He wasn't a household name by any means, but he was a working actor and very successful. His name was Buck Cartillion. And this guy, one day, his daughter, Julie, who was our really good friend, she showed us some pictures of Buck and some of his friends that were working out in some of these underground gyms in Hollywood post-World War II. And if you think about post-World War II, people were still eating real food back then. So there was no obesity really back then. I mean, I think obesity back then was barely 1% of the population, where now it's like 42%, and the overweight and the obese population right now today, as I sit here, is about 75%. That's 3 out of 4 people in our country. But back then it was like 1%. It's like if you were super obese, you were a candidate to travel with the circus. But these guys back there, they were lifting weights. And they were doing these incredible workouts in some of these underground gyms, and they were kind of considered to be a little nuts. Like, what are these guys doing out there? Nuts. Bodybuilding. What are they doing out there lifting weights? Oh, they look like freaks. No, they looked amazing. And they were way before their time. They looked incredible. And I'm talking about in a natural way, because they weren't shooting steroids up their butt then either, or getting all kinds of injections. They were eating real food, doing real workouts, and getting real rest. So then Jack LaLanne came along, this huge personality. And Jack LaLanne, many of us owe our careers to Jack LaLanne, because he started to make this thing mainstream. When he first came out, he was considered crazy. And he started to do some really crazy stuff. Some of it was because he wanted to get the attention, and it he was marketing himself. He was marketing like he wasn't marketing. He didn't say, when he took a tugboat and put the rope in his mouth and took it across the ocean, he wasn't telling you that you should do that. He was doing that as a stunt to show you what maybe is possible for you to do. And not that again, that you were supposed to do what he did, but he was trying to highlight that physical fitness and physical activity and everything that he was doing was something that you need to be taking a look at. And slowly but surely, the general public started to evolve and go, wait a minute, this guy's right. This guy's on to something there. I mean, he was talking about processed foods in the 50s. He was talking about processed sugars and all this synthetic food. He's like, if it didn't grow out of the ground, or if it didn't come from some sort of an animal product, don't eat it. If it's man-made, don't eat it. He said that in the 50s. He was way ahead of his time. And we're all grateful to him. And if you can go on YouTube and pop up some of his stuff on his TV shows, you can hear this stuff. He could have been very, very highly relevant today, and he was relevant until he died in his 90s. And I actually got the opportunity to meet him a couple times at a restaurant back in Sherman Oaks, California. There'd be Jack over there in his corner table at this restaurant in Sherman Oaks with his wife, Elaine. And Jack would have his egg white omelet with his vegetables, and there he would be in his blue jumpsuit. And he was into his 80s at this point. And man, what an inspiring dude he was. And again, I'm grateful for him for what he did. But he marketed truth. He didn't probably think he was marketing. He was informing, which is the point I'm trying to make here. Marketing should be information about something that I need. Marketing should be information about a product or a service that I need that can benefit my life when it comes to health and wellness. Then we fast forward, get the 50s into the 60s, and then we get into the 70s. And we have bodybuilding. We have Muscle Beach. We have pumping iron. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger, another icon. Again, people thought they were nuts. And the concept of bodybuilding, the way it was presented in many ways, it was nuts because of the drugs involved and that are still involved with a lot of bodybuilding. I mean, some of these people, it's impossible to naturally look like they do. But the concept of bodybuilding in and of itself is pretty awesome because muscle dictates metabolism. I take a lot of what I teach from the bodybuilding world, but I don't teach the drug aspect of it. I teach building muscle, maintaining this lean, active, fat-burning muscle, and doing everything you can to continue to build it so that your metabolic rate, your metabolism, your engine of life, I call it, is as high as it can be all the time, and you are ultimately healthy as a result of that. I don't recommend the steroids and some of the other enhancements that are involved in that, because you get into some of that and you're going to die an early death. And we've seen a lot of that in the bodybuilding world. But that was marketed out there. And it was plain to see in the world of bodybuilding that you could look at some of these people and you look at them and then you look in the mirror and you go, well, that's just not going to happen. It was common sense that that was not going to happen for you. But it did promote exercise and weightlifting. Because in the 60s and into the 70s, I grew up, I was in middle school and in high school in the 70s. we all went down to the sporting goods store and asked our dad to buy us some weights and a weight bench. We wanted to lift weights. We wanted to train for sports. We wanted to look good. It's funny, we used to, in high school, I remember, we used to work chest and we used to work arms because that's what we could see in the mirror. And maybe that was a little offbeat. I mean, we should have been working a more balanced workout, but the point, and we did get to that eventually. But the point being is bodybuilding indirectly influenced a lot of people out there to go out and lift weights and do this so that they could have a higher metabolic rate, so they could be stronger, better, faster, and burn energy at a more efficient rate. It wasn't put out like that, but that's what I gathered, and that's what a lot of people gathered, and that's why it was so successful. That was influential. Late 70s and into the 80s, we had aerobics. Another great kind of iconic thing in fitness and wellness. Aerobics were fantastic. We can thank people like Kathy Smith, like Jane Fonda, and these people were true icons in presenting aerobics. Richard Simmons. I did one of my on the fly videos a couple of months back, and I'm going to repeat this because these four individuals were very, very influential in these different aspects of fitness and how it was presented to the public and led it to be where it is today. I've already mentioned Jack. I've already mentioned Jane Fonda, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Richard Simmons. These four individuals through these different eras, with what they were doing, indirectly marketed fitness and wellness to people out there. And they did a great job because you could see that, like, if you look at the crowd that was working out with an Arnold type of workout, and then you look at the crowd that was working out with a Jane Fonda or a Kathy Smith type of workout, you could see that those were two vastly different aspects of the public. The bodybuilding things, their muscles were blown out of control, and they didn't look quote unquote normal, and it looked very unachievable for most people, unless you were willing to put the work in, and there was nothing wrong with that if that was for you. But that endeavor was clearly not for most people, and that was very evident in the marketing, in the presentation. But then you go to Jane Fonda and you go to Richard Simmons, and now we get into more like, wow, this is for me. This is doable. This is appropriate. This is where I need to be. And that was honesty in marketing. And they didn't have to really like shove it down your throats. You could see the benefit from it. You could see the joy in it. You could see the increased mobility in it. You could see the cardiovascular benefit. You could see that you would look better. And I always talk about, I'm going to drive this home on this podcast and in my book and everything I do, that we need to work from the inside out. When you did those aerobics workouts back in the 70s and the 80s, and they're still very, very viable and alive today, you feel better from the inside out. When you lift weights like a bodybuilder without the drugs, you feel better from the inside out. That was really good, responsible marketing. But going back to what I said with the CrossFit and the extreme training, now you're getting into more specifics. CrossFit and the likes of that, that's a professional sport. And the example that I made before, football is a professional sport. There's different levels of football. So again, I'm going to go out and I'm going to play flag football with my buddies, or I'm going to go out to a picnic or whatever with some family members. That's going to be appropriate for me. But for me to go down and jump on the Titans field and go to spring training and go to training, in the preseason, I probably wouldn't come out alive. That's common sense. But what I'm telling you is that the lay person that watches some of this marketing, this deceptive marketing out there, doesn't know that. And it's in nutrition as well. Let's talk about the vitamin industry. Vitamins are vital. Supplements. These are called supplements for a certain reason. Supplementation is a noun. It is like, I need supplementation to enhance. Supplement means to enhance something and make it better. So when I hear all these ads about supplements all the time, and I get people have to make a living out there, but all supplements are not for everybody. So I hear somebody do this expert commentary out there. They spout up this great research, and then they have to sell their supplement or their powder. And not that it's not legitimate, not that it's not authentic, and not that it's not correct for people, but not everybody needs it. And the person that's marketing it knows that, but they're going to try to bamboozle you to buy it. How many people take so many supplements? I hear so many supplements out there, and most of them sit on the shelf because they don't work. Again, there's no regulation, so how do I know what I'm really getting? There's two places that I order supplements and that I recommend. Designs for Health, which is a company that I did my certified nutritionist research, or a certified nutritionist internship out there as an apprentice and as a researcher. It was a great opportunity at the time. So I know Designs for Health. Everything that they put out there has been volunteered to be regulated, and it's the real thing. GNC, national chain. Everything you see on that shelf, they have volunteered it to be regulated. So I know when I'm getting something out there, I'm getting something authentic. But on somebody on Instagram or some person that has no idea what they're doing, they just happen to look good and they have some really good lighting and a camera to make it look really flashy and convincing for me or somebody else that's going to change my life, that's going to take care of my issue, when it's not going to. That's when there's a problem. And I'm speaking to you out there, whoever you are. Call me on it. I'd love to hear from you, because there are certain people out there that will get your message and it's appropriate. But some of it's bullshit and you know it. So what I'm telling people out there in marketing is that it needs to be truthful. Now let's go back to the different eras of exercise and how that was naturally marketed and how that just came off as so authentic because it was. And again, how today there's so much out there, there's so much volume that people don't really know where to turn. So the lesson here is this: marketing, make it authentic, make it truthful. Really do your research out there with your product or with your service and get it to the people that you need to get it to. Specify who it's for. Kettlebell swings with this horrendous form, this move is not for most people. I'd venture and argue to say it's not for anybody. I hear this thing about, well, it's about the hip thrust. Well, do a hip thrust. Do it, get a weight on your pelvic area, get on a bench or get on some sort of machine and do a hip thrust and build your glutes and build your core. Or wrap some kind of tubing or band or TheraBand or whatever around your midsection and thrust your hips with the resistance coming from behind you. Not with this 40 or 50 pound kettlebell that I'm swinging around. Do we have lat pull down swings? Do we have chest press swings? Do we have leg press swings? Do we have arm curl swings? Do we have lateral raise swings? I don't see swings in any other motion. I'm riding that move hard, aren't I? Yeah, I am. And you know who you are out there. You need to tell people who it's for. So let's go into some other things. Weight loss, weight control, which is ultimately what this is all about. That's what I do. There's certain workouts, certain supplements, certain modalities out there that are just not true. I get down to the big four of life, the RR big four of life. You're going to hear me say this over and over again. Optimum exercise, optimum nutrition, proper rest, and stress management. These aspects work independently and synergistically to make us who we are. They create our outcomes, they create our results, and they really determine not only our results in weight control and health optimization, but they determine the eyes that we see from, what I call our perspectives. Now, I make nothing, absolutely nothing, about telling you that. Now, it does legitimize me because everybody knows what they're doing, knows that those four aspects are the key core of wellness and health, body, mind, spirit, inside and out. I'm marketing you something that you need to hear. Now, my own personal marketing, until social media, I never really did anything. I never did any marketing. I let my work speak for itself. My marketing was word of mouth. Then I got on Dr. Phil. Fortunate. I wouldn't be sitting here with Trent if it wasn't for that. And I thank Dr. Phil and Robin McGraw for the platform that I got and that I have. And they continue to support me this day. And I am ever grateful to them. But I have never abused that opportunity. I've stayed true and authentic to what I do, and everything that I do out there is truthful. I make a really great living doing what I do. I work with individuals personally. It's called personal training because it's personal. I market that as authentic, personal, and truthful. That's what I do. You can ask anybody that's ever worked with me. My track record speaks for itself. That's my marketing. I determine then, because it is personal, who it's for. Because it's personal. It's for you. It's for the individual. You train with me, you get thoroughly assessed before we do anything. My app, my work, Revive and Sustain Wellness. That's personal as well, because there are things out there that are geared towards all levels, and the levels are very specific, and you're informed, so you know what you're doing and where, at what point in your journey you need to be doing it. My book, Anti-Diet, hence the title. Diets never worked. Anti-diet. The paradigm has shifted. People know diets are bullshit. They don't even really exist anymore. And I'm going to get to the next part of this. GLP-1s.
Boy.
Big pharma. Right, Trent?
Yes, sir.
You
Go get them.
Well, but before I get to that, because I'm gonna go off a little bit on that. What do you think so far, Trent? Am I off base here or what?
Not at all.
Yeah, I didn't think
Zero qualms.
Yeah.
Zero qualms here.
That's good. That's good. And look, Trent is out there. Trent wants to feel good and look good and be awesome about Trent. He's the creator of Spread the Positive. He doesn't want to go out there and do something stupid. He doesn't want to go out there and get marketed and bamboozled into buying some product or service that's not for him.
Nope.
He wants to be guided in the right direction. And, Trent's created a really good thing here. He has experts coming and sitting in this chair all day and doing podcasts. So he's learning a lot of great things and authentically. Mm-hmm. Nobody sits in this chair that's not authentic. I know he's not bringing anybody in here that's inauthentic. So I watch the stuff.
Yep.
So he's got that built in. But I just want to get Trent's take on that because I'm getting a little heated here, and maybe I should cool down, but no, I'm not going to, because I'm getting to one of the most important aspects of this now. Today's marketing, the extreme training, the bullshit nutrition, a lot of the vitamins and supplements and things that people don't need. And again, I want to go back to supplements are great. Vitamins and minerals are great. I recommend these to people all the time for certain situations. I don't blanket recommend anything for everybody. It has to be specific. You have to put it out there for specifically who it's for, or at least give people a general idea so they don't get misled and they don't buy something that's not for them. Infomercials from the 70s and the 80s, and they're still alive and well right now with Instagram and X and Facebook out there. They're flashy, they're strong, and they're going to change your life. You get this product, you get this service. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing for you. And it's bullshit. And the product or the service either ends up in the medicine cabinet or in the pantry, or it gets hung up on the treadmill as to do laundry on it, to hang your laundry on it, or it gets put in the garage sale or the yard sale this spring because it wasn't for you. That machine wasn't for you. I'm going to mention another thing before I get into the GLP-1s. There's an app. I'm not going to mention the name of the app, but you put the QR code of some given product, and it gives it a rating, a high rating or a low rating or whatever rating. There's different ratings for it. And somebody brought this up to me the other day, and there was a protein bar with 19 grams of sugar. It gave it the highest rating. Did you hear what I said? It gave a protein bar with 19 grams of sugar the highest rating. That protein bar shouldn't have got the highest rating. Should have got the lowest rating. A protein bar with 19 grams of sugar is not a protein bar, it's a candy bar. But whoever made the logarithm for this particular app and other apps out there like it that will come along, because apps have changed everything and we rely on everything with apps and our phones and everything now, so we're easily bamboozled by the bullshit. No regulation, nobody stepping in and going, wait a minute, this is not correct. The lay person gets that and goes, wow, that 19 gram of sugar protein bar must be pretty good. I'm going to order a case of it on Amazon. And they wonder why they don't get the results they want. We used to battle with the same thing back in retail fitness when I was with Busybody years ago. We knew fitness equipment, we knew quality, we knew how to market it and sell it, whatever we needed to do it, and guide the individuals that came into the store to the right product at the right level for the right price point that they were looking for. And they would bring in consumer reports, Consumer Digest or whatever they were. And somebody wrote, or some committee people wrote these digests or these reports. Where were they getting their information and why were they getting their information? Let's think about it. The bottom line of all this is money. Follow the money. But we'd have to talk people out of it. We would see these, because somebody would come in with, I need a treadmill, or I need a bike, or I need a strength training unit, or I need an elliptical, or I need a rower. And they show me the consumer reports. This got the top rating one. Do you need this one? And we all knew as experts in the industry that there was a piece of shit. And it was going to break on them. Anybody over 180 pounds that would get on that treadmill on a consistent basis, it was going to break it. So that product was not appropriate or right for them, and it would be discouraging for them to get it home and for it not to work. It would not serve the purpose of them coming in, changing their lives, getting on an exercise program, and starting to build momentum towards the other parts of the big four: exercise, nutrition, proper rest, and stress management. That was their first step. And if their first step failed, that was going to discourage them. So it was misleading marketing that was at the demise of their non-success before they ever started. Do you see what I'm talking about here? So let's get into the GLP-1 thing. GLP-1s, these are diabetes medications. So they started out. So somebody comes to me and they've got an A1C in the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 range, which I've seen, which I do see. They can benefit from a GLP-1. I'd say that's an emergency situation. That medication can benefit them. But then it trickles down. Well, the wrong word there is trickled. Skyrocketed down or in or up into the weight loss industry. Because, as I've said earlier, and I've said many times on this podcast, the diet industry is done. It's completely full of shit. People know it. And even people that are lay people now that know that diets don't work. They never really did. They misled the public. Why? How did they get there? Marketing. Yep. How did you find out about them? Marketing. Did you fail on them? 95% of you did. You were misled by marketing. These diets weren't for you. You see, when somebody just shows you how to eat, like I do, you don't make a lot of money off of it. But you sell this brand diet or whatever, and the brand supplement and the shake and all the other bullshit that goes with it, well, now you're making a lot of money. So again, it goes back to the money. So big pharma and doctors out there, and yeah, the medical community, I'm going to call you out. I love the medical community. I have huge respect for the medical community when they heal. If I'm in a traumatic situation, if I need orthopedic surgery, if I'm in trauma, I need a doctor. I need a doctor in a lot of different situations because the majority of the medical community out there is truly there to help you. But when I sit back and I go to a doctor and I'm overweight, and they sit back and the first thing they do is whip out their prescription pad and they recommend the Ozempic or the Mounjaro or the Wegovy or whatever, because that's marketing at the base level. My doctor is telling me that that's my only way out now. So what am I going to do as a lay person? I'm going to say, well, my doctor said that because they're at the top of the totem pole, so I better do it. When GLP-1s are really designed, again, they were made for extreme diabetes patients, and they work for that. But there becomes, things, people need to know that things work, modalities work until they don't work. They are appropriate until they are not appropriate. And so this is a big thing in marketing, and I'm hammering this out because it's the underlying force right now in weight loss and weight control, and it's being marketed as such, and it's not. It's not. GLP-1, I can ignite my own GLP-1. The prominent and the working mechanism of the Wegovys, the Ozempics, the Mounjaros, the Saxendas, all these. I can ignite my own GLP-1 through real food. I can ignite my own GLP-1 through eating the Robert Reames signature plate structure system that you will find in my anti-diet book, that you will find on my Revive and Sustain Wellness app, that you will find and hear me talk about 1,000,000 times. Now, do I make money on you going out to the grocery store or the farm and getting real food and bringing it home and preparing it and serving it to your family and yourselves, or going to a restaurant and ordering a plate structure system meal that is going to work for you? Do I make money on that? No, I don't. But I'm okay with that because I am marketing my system because it's truthful and authentic. It's something that you need to hear that you may have not have heard. But when I'm marketing and shoved down the throat through TV ads and doctors that make huge commissions, when I'm marketed that GLP-1 is my only answer, and it's wrong, and it's not my only answer. In fact, it's a very small part of it. When I'm marketed that, and I'm not given any other option, and I'm not given clarity on why and what the mechanism is, I'm just saying, hey, take this shot and you'll get great results. That's wrong. Give people the opportunity to make their own decisions. Inform them. That's in marketing and in prescribing and everything else. People need to be properly informed so that they can make their own decision based on knowledge, skills. Again, I teach people knowledge and skills. Do I make money on that? No. But I'll make my money. I'm not worried about that. But I'm not going to make it in an inauthentic way. Think about this, and these are the facts. Again, it's been marketed that that's my only way out. It's been marketed that that's the super way and the only way to lose weight now. It's being marketed to kids. That's wrong. Yes, and you know it is. But the almighty dollar, that's the carrot. That's what drives you. Why don't we let healing drive us? We need to stop letting money drive us. And we can talk about that in other aspects of life. But why are we so driven by money? How much do you need? And how far are you willing to compromise your principles for marketing just to make money? Let me give you a piece of advice out there. You have a product or service that works, that really helps people, there's your marketing. Inform them of it, make them aware of it, but don't lie about it. If you got to lie and bamboozle about people, you got the wrong product. I don't want to hear from you. And you need to be more responsible because people out there need your help. 80% of Americans are not on the train that they should be, the health and wellness train. That's what I've always talked about. I want to get people on that train. I want to get people, the 20%, you're easy. I'm part of the 20%. I'm easy. I'm going to look at what's out there. I'm going to be able to decipher what's right for me and what's wrong for me. But I'm not, and I'm going to be informed because I know what's going on. And I'm going to try to inform as many people as I can. That's why I'm doing this podcast today. I want people to be aware. I want people to be able to do their own research. They need to do it. They need to be informed. You need the general public out there. This is the other part of that equation. Along with people that market products and services in health and wellness, you got to be responsible. You've got to be truthful. You've got to be authentic. But the other part of that equation is we as consumers, we have to be smart. We have to do our research. We have to ask around. We have to get the right sources. We have to talk to the right people. We have to bring the right practitioners into our lives. Get a chiropractor that knows what they're doing. Get a physical therapist. Get a general practitioner, a doctor out there that knows what they're doing, that's really authentic and really is going to give you and advise you on what you need. That's a big lesson here. Authenticity and truth in marketing, and us as consumers, we as consumers, to be smart about what we're getting out there. We can all still make money. We can all still have harmony. I'm not talking about that because I'm talking about cheating people and deceiving people. I'm not saying people shouldn't make money. Everybody deserves to make money. This is capitalism. This is America. If you've got a great product and service, like I said out there, it'll speak for itself. Dr. Phil always told me, he said, you're a walking billboard for your business. I'm going to be 66 years old this year. I can walk circles around a lot of people half my age. Most of my clientele is not my age. Now, why is that? Why is that? Because, well, I walk the walk and I optimize and I prioritize self-care just like I put out there to the people that I work with and the people out there that potentially that I will get a chance to work with or that potentially will have a chance to learn what I teach. That's authenticity in marketing. The proof's in the pudding. So again, say it one more time. Truth in marketing, authenticity in marketing. Don't make it so much about your pocketbook or your bank account. Make it about healing and the money will come. And consumers, you be smart out there. You be savvy. When you see stuff out there on Instagram, hell, on my app, I've got something that you can directly talk to us. You can directly write us a note. You can text us through the app. Then you will get an answer within 24 to 48 hours on an answer of anything, any kind of health and wellness question that you have. And if me or my team doesn't have the answer, we'll direct you to the right place to get the answer. So don't just flip and get out your credit card and start buying stuff because you were told that the promised land was there with this particular product or service. Do your research. Trent, did I get that message across okay today?
You drilled that. That was beautifully said. Well done.
Well, thank you so much. Listen, once again, we're here at Spread the Positive Studios, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and the Nashville Fit Network. Terry, I want to thank you again. I want to thank my team, my Revive and Sustain Wellness team. I have an amazing team, and I want to thank everybody. You know, this might be actually the first podcast episode that I air, because I think it really kind of lays the foundation for everything that's coming. So I want to thank really everybody that has ever supported me or given me opportunity to be able to sit here today and talk about this kind of thing. And you all know who you are. So, and you all know who you aren't also. So I want to thank everybody for that. And I want to thank the good Lord for just having the opportunity to sit down here and to inform you and to guide you in the right direction. You deserve health and wellness. You deserve to feel awesome about you and great and fantastic. You deserve to thrive. You deserve to wake up every morning and tackle the day. You deserve to have your loved ones and your family running at peak levels. So don't let marketing fool you. Be observant. Be subjective. Be watchful. And be smart. And take care of you out there. And the greatest of health and wellness. Till next time, the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. Much more to come. God bless. Hey everybody, thanks again for tuning in to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. And don't forget the Revive and Sustain Wellness app. Go to www.reviveandsustain.com and download the app. 42 years of my experience at your fingertips. Till next time, everybody, in great health.